Hello there, World of Tankers. Welcome to the channel. I'm, of course, your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, we are going to be playing in the 50 TP. This is the Tier 9 Polish Tech Tree Heavy Tank that will, of course, be leading to the 60 TP in Update 8.4 for World of Tanks Blitz. Now, you might be wondering, well, how the heck are you playing these vehicles when they're not released on the game yet? Well, thankfully, Wargaming has been generous enough to send me a link to the open test server where I am able to play all of these vehicles and let you guys know my personal impressions and opinions on these vehicles before they are released into the game. Now, the new Polish line is going to consist of 5 vehicles. We start off with the 40 TP, 45 TP, 53, we go to the 50, and then obviously all the way up to the 60 TP. And this is the Tier 9. It's a very interesting looking vehicle. And if we break into the armor profile, you can see just how weird it is. So it's got a pretty solid upper plate actually, about 278 millimeters thick, although heat shells, yeah, they're gonna cut quite a bit through that armor. Now fully all down, that's not the case. I mean, that is a very strong upper plate, and the turret as well is incredibly strong. So this thing will be getting a lot of bounces on that hull. Now I am looking at the PC armor profile of this vehicle because Armor Inspector nor does Blitzhanger actually have the Blitz side variant of the armor yet, but I can expect that it will be very similar to what PC's armor is like on the upper plate. It is going to have this massive weak spot right here. That is going to be a big old commander hatch that you can shoot, but the turret itself all down looks incredibly strong. I'm not sure how strong it's going to be in Blitz, but at least on PC that looks really, really good. Now there are 2 cupolas on the back of the turret, 180 millimeters thick and 174, but they're very far back, so when you're using gun depression, as you can see, not going to be the easiest of targets to shoot. The lower plate is 212 thick, which means you can actually get some good angling here. I mean, with AP shells, you can see that you can over-angle that lower plate quite a bit and make it very, very red. Side armor, also pretty thick. I mean, it's not super strong, but it's about 90 millimeters, which means that you will be able to side scrape quite effectively with this vehicle. But you do have a weak spot here. I mean, if you're trying to angle this vehicle like this, and let's say the lower plate's hidden, but you're still shooting off to the side, hiding this little notch here, you can easily shoot into the side of this spot, or you just load in heat and obviously cut right through the side. But it's a very nice angled bit here that will get a lot of bounces. So for the most part, I actually think the 50 TP looks pretty sweet. And not to mention, it carries the exact same gun as the IS-7. Now, obviously not all the stats are the same, but the standard penetration and premium pen is exactly the same, 303 on the premium, and it's like 251 on the standard if I'm not mistaken here, something like that. But it's got the exact same pen. And obviously the IS-7 is at tier 10. So this gun at tier 9 is going to be very easy to cut through most frontal armor. DPM is nothing amazing though at 2075. Dispersion at 0.349. It's actually pretty good. I mean, judging that the IS-7's dispersion is 0.362, it's surprisingly more accurate. Aiming time at 4.6 seconds. And of course, average damage is 460. Comes with 8 degrees of gun depression. And although it only says we're going 36 kilometers per hour forward and 15 in reverse, because I am running the improved gear oil and as well the gear oil, we're actually going about 42 forward and 21 in reverse. So it's a pretty mobile tank, much more mobile than the 60 TP. And of course, I'm also running the adrenaline and tungsten shells once again. So let's see what we can do here. I'm not sure how many people are actually in the open test server today, and I have a feeling we are only going to be going up against tier 10 opponents. But for the most part, I just want to see how this vehicle is going to perform. Here we are, and oh boy. Well, at least I'm the only tier 9. That could have been much worse, right? So this will be a good example to see how the vehicle does play. Now that 8 degrees of gun depression is going to be very nice. I'm actually very looking forward to this tank. I mean, it's ugly. In my opinion, I think this is one of the ugliest of the line, but why are you going this way? Oh gee, what are you doing? Oh, I just wanted to work hull down there. Well, I guess that's not going to happen anymore. But that sucks. But as I was saying, the weird thing about this tank is I think this is the ugliest looking out of all of them. I mean, it looks like a KV hull almost, but then you stuck this weird outlandish looking turret on the hull. Now the good news is that just like an ST1 turret that is massive, it's actually going to be a very strong turret, as I said, but just a weird looking tank, right? Either way, we're up to 40 kilometers per hour. You can see that, as I said, the mobility is very nice on this vehicle, while the tank may only go the 40 kilometers per hour, which for heavies is not a ridiculous amount of speed, but it's pretty quick. I mean, uphill, on any terrain, it's pretty mobile. So here we are. Speed is key, although I read that Russian text. I have a feeling they're like, where are you? No clue what Russian text is, obviously, because I don't speak a little language. But I'm just going to be pushing my tank off to the side here. Very good traverse speed. That's one thing I don't know about the gear oil, is for some reason these tanks seem to turn very quickly, and I can't tell if that's because of the gear oil or if that's because of just the tanks themselves turning very quickly. quickly. Nonetheless, there's a 60 TP off to the side. Maybe we can get a snapshot in. Hello, come on, poke it. Poke it, do it. Oh, no, oh, no, 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 no. I don't want to get hit by that. That guy was not in my best of interest there. And oof, 1,100 health off. I don't know why the team went this way. I mean, I really don't know what the big brain idea behind that was. But either way, I'm going to aim in on this guy. We're even going to plop on our tungsten shells and boom! 557 hit points off of that guy. That is obviously where tungsten shells are going to rip a whole new one into the enemy team. So let's aim in here again on this this TP and yeet! There you go. Another tap with our tungsten shells. 533 hit points. I mean, that hurts, obviously. That's a big tap, and I don't think the enemies are going to appreciate that amount of damage all too much. So let's see. Oh, no, we did not penetrate that one, and unfortunately, because of that, I wasn't able to use my final tungsten shell. This team is not doing great, I will be honest. They are doing a very, very, very poor. But, I mean, you can still see where this tank's gun is going to be very nice. I mean, it rolls very high. There you go, 523. I mean, our tungsten shells alone gave us some really, really nice high rolls. There's a good bounce on the armor itself. And all we gotta do is finish off this 160 TP, and we might actually have a pretty good 1v1 on our hands. So let's see if we can do that right now. Let's load in a premium shell, and, well, actually, we're not gonna load in a premium shell. We're gonna load in standard, and now we are going to do Ring Around the Rosie. Speed is key, speed is key, go, 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 go. Uh-oh, I don't want to be shot in the side. No, 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 no. All right, let's turn the vehicle, and let's get a tap ourselves into him. Now, unfortunately, the big issue here is he's just going to keep out trading me, which is not good for me, right? So I got to be careful with that. But thankfully, I can kind of just use my mobility here. I'm not sure how this frontal armor is going to end up working out, so we're going to find out, right? But let's get a shot into this guy's track wheel, and let's wiggle it. Come on, give me a bounce, give me a bounce. No, no. It looks like, as you can see there, that commander's hatch is a big weak spot. You will have to worry about that when using this vehicle. Now, the upper plate of the 60 TP at face-hugging distance is not amazing, if I'm going to be honest. It looks like it has some very big weak spots. I'm trying to get a bounce here, but, oof, yeah, right through the frontal armor. So, the armor's good on the tank, don't get me wrong. You will get bounces, but it looks like, at least on flat ground, the armor is not going to be all that impressive. 3,365 damage, and I did better than a Kranvong and a 60 TP on our team. So, any competent players that are going to be using this tank, I actually think it'll be quite a fun vehicle. I mean, it seems very mobile. The tungsten shells are going to give it that massive boost in damage. A lot of people are trying to say that tungsten shells don't give you more average damage because your max rolls can obviously happen with your standard shells. And in theory, that's true, yes. But there's also low rolls with normal shots, right? That's why average damage is called average damage. So when I talk about an IS-7, I don't say its average damage is 575. It's 460 because you can equally low roll as much as high roll. These shells mitigate completely the chance of low rolling, which means that if you come up against a tank that is a one-shot, let's say 475 health, you are guaranteed killing them when you pop on tungsten shells, compared to you would not guaranteed kill a tank if you didn't put on tungsten shells, and that is the issue. I don't like the fact that it takes away the effort of RNG, right? I mean, if you're going to do that, what I suggested is either take away adrenaline or take away tungsten, right? I think that you shouldn't have the option of running both, because that just makes your DPM insane. So just have one of them. Just have tungsten shells. I still think that the variation should be decreased back to the 100 and I think 20% it was before. But yeah, apart from that, I mean, everything else seems fine. I don't really know what to say. Tungsten shells is pretty busted. The mobility as well, I don't think that the gear oil should exist. I think that's a little bit too much, at least in my opinion. But there's a nice tap with our tungsten shells for 556 damage there. I'm going to be pushing forwards. Let's try and not get hit. Oh yeah, he did not penetrate that shell. Alright, so unfortunately here, we are not getting out our big ol' alpha damage with our tungsten, and we were tracked, which is not good as well. But we are really just kind of wasting our alpha here. I'm just going to pull forwards. Oh my god, this guy's really annoying. Oh, we just wasted our tungsten so much there. You got to be kidding me. That is really, really, really irritating. All right, well, apparently I can say that if you're a smart player and you use your repair kits incorrectly like me, you will, incorrectly should I say. Ooh, if he pokes that again, I'm shooting it. Come on, do it. Do it, poke it, my dude. Come on. All right, let's aim it this time. This is it. This is the one. Yes, there you go. Nice tap into the FE4202. This time, you're not getting past me, my dude. Wow, that was a very weird pen. I don't really know what to say about the armor of this tank. I mean, it looks okay, but nothing ridiculous, right? I mean, this guy's obviously struggling to pen me in the side with HE, which is good. But for the most part, it seems like the armor on this tank is doing a pretty solid job. That, however, I don't think should have happened. That was very unfortunate, right? Okay, well, then, we gotta be careful here. I just gotta really make sure this guy can't rush me. Back up, back up, back up, back up, back up. It's gonna take us 2 shells to finish him off, and 3 for him to finish us. What the heck? Okay, well, clearly my luck is just awful. I mean, we've just bounced 2 shells into this guy's track wheel, like his armor is Stalinian here. So I don't really know what to say about that. But for the most part, the gun is working, right? Oh, he missed. Yes, he's not good. He is not good. Haha. Either way, the gun itself, I think, is pretty good. I mean, these are really unfortunate bounces, should I say, that we're getting here. But look at that. We still won. I really don't know what to say about that. I mean, if our shots had hit there, that would have been fine. Now, I will say that it is a good point there to show that if you are running adrenaline and tungsten shells, you can be tracked. And you can be tracked quite easily. But obviously, in most scenarios, you're not going to be driving up a hill like that on Himmelsdorf because there's going to be heavies in front of you. See, the reason I'm trying to think of how tungsten shells is going to work is because normally on Himmelsdorf, you're going to be against heavies that are across of you. And at that point, if you have the ability, you can easily just put on tungsten shells, because it has a 26-second reload, and your reload on this vehicle is actually shorter than the 60 TP at around 13 seconds. That means that you can easily get 3 shells out if you are just plopping on adrenaline. What that means in my mind is just the fact that with tungsten shells, you're able to dump out, what, 460 plus, I would say, another 50 or 60 damage. So over 530 damage per shot, 3 times into any tank, compared to them not being able to do that back into you. And that's the only issue I really have with tungsten. I just don't get why it needs to exist. There's a lot of people saying it's fair, blah, blah, blah. But why does it need to exist in the first place? Sure, I understand making the game different to other vehicles, but do we need that? I mean, on World of Tanks PC, they don't ever do anything like this. And I know the game's not supposed to be compared to PC, but there's never really ever been consumables. What they did is they added Equipment 2.0, which gave you the ability to increase your mobility, like the gear oil, but every tank got that opportunity. And I think that would be a good system for Blitz, is maybe Equipment 2.0, where they've added on another row below this that lets you increase your top speed or your acceleration on certain terrain, you know, something like that. That way every tank can run it, because I don't think it's fair to give one tank something but none of the others something. Let me know what you guys think about the vehicle in the comments down below. But hopefully all of you enjoyed today's video. And I will say, I don't think tungsten shells are as broken on this vehicle. The big reason behind that is just behind the fact that this thing has very poor DPM at 2,075. And what the big issue, of course, with you got very poor DPM is those tungsten shells sort of mitigate that DPM, right? You can run tungsten and boof, your DPM goes up by 300 when you're running it if you pen all of your shots. So that's great. You know, compare that to another heavy tank, let's say like, I don't know, your average heavy. Let's just go to Russia and pull out an IS-8. The IS-8's at 2,259 DPM, and this is with no provision. So obviously if you're running that and this, your DPM goes up. And then if you're running, you know, you can see the DPM goes up quite a bit, 2,400. And then obviously if you're on a gun rammer, it goes up to 2,573. So the DPM on this tank is not fantastic. But I guess that's the drawback, is you're running tungsten on this vehicle. It's really just the tier 10 I don't get why tungsten exists, because it seems that this one really doesn't suffer from any drawbacks and it just gains alpha, right? Hopefully all of you enjoyed today's video. Other than that, I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye!